I had to play both intros, man. Had to
Yeah.
do it because this is what we've been waiting for right here, the crossover event of the DC Fan-imated event. I don't know what to call it. I'm just excited.
I mean, you have to go back to what it was like in 1997 to watch this.
Oh, dude, the promos and everything. Oh,
I didn't see the promos.
I remember seeing some of the I don't remember in detail, but I remember. I mean, you had to build this event up. Obviously, when it comes to this universe, and geez, I remember. I do remember like that happening, but yeah, I don't remember like them in detail though. That's the thing. But goddamn, so
So
good.
for me, it was weird because, you know, I've been told that for most people that this was like a prime time uh,
Yeah,
event. I didn't get it in prime time
interesting.
in my area. I I looked back when I had to look in the newspaper to look at like the TV listings.
TV guide.
It wasn't even the TV guide. It
I
was the
You had the
local,
newspaper, yeah.
the newspaper, and I saw Superman, new Batman Superman adventures, you know, world's finest, and I'm like, what the hell? I see they're doing cars.
You
I
see
had to
that?
I had to get up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and you better believe I set my alarm.
No shit.
Yes,
Whoa.
yes. They aired this puppy at 6 a.m. because when they aired it, they aired all 3 parts back to back.
Oh, wow. I'm trying to remember if like how I watched it. See, that's the thing. That's what I don't remember is how I watched all three parts. Did I see it? I'm pretty sure I watched it as it. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of how it was in because I was in California at that time. I don't know. That's interesting. But anyways, we are just ecstatic right now because we were excited last week that this was going to happen and we are finally here. We watched World's Finest Part 1 and we had a funny little thing that happened before the stream because I asked Scott, "What are you wearing? What shirt are you wearing for tonight's stream?" And he had the Batman and Superman like shirt and I was like, "Yeah, I don't have a Batman and Superman shirt. I did, but it got ruined." So I was like, fuck. And I was like, all right, well, if Scott's going to wear one of the other, I'll wear, because I have a Superman shirt, I have Batman shirts, I was like, okay. So we actually flipped for it.
We did flip for it.
He's all flip for it. And then it was funny because immediately I just go to heads anytime I flip for it. But you said Superman heads, Batman tails. And I'm like, why did I choose that? Because I'm more of a Batman guy. But then at the same time, we're both like more Batman guys, huh?
It's just the nature of when we came around. But then,
Yeah.
we flipped it. You got tails, you got the Batman shirt. It's fine. They're both awesome in this episode.
That's
It's
the thing. God, this is so
such a
good.
good episode.
So good. And I'm glad that people are joining right now. Yes, of course, RIP Kevin Conroy. Yeah. So
Oh,
great. So
so
great.
great.
We got Droga right here. Looking forward to, yeah, exactly. I mean, we've been looking forward to this one too. We got Darkness here. Hope we get a world's final. I mean, who knows? Like, it's interesting. I mean, and there's things in here. Oh man, there's things in this episode that you just know that the filmmakers that have made like some of the stuff, like maybe kind of like, maybe we should have a scene like that here. I don't know. There's stuff like that in this episode. This is where this is where we get that. And then of course, thank you, Jason McKenzie, for always helping out the pirate ship. Ahoy, ahoy! And of course, I poured a drink tonight. I was like, cheers to this episode.
I Unfortunately, I have come down with a sinus infection, so
Oh,
I was sipping throat soothing tea while I watched this episode for a second time. Like, that's how excited I was. I watched it this afternoon like I normally do, and then after everyone went to bed, I went, "Fuck it, I'll watch it again."
oh man. Wow, that's so awesome. But yeah, I was like, I'm pouring a drink tonight. Let's do this because yeah, world's finest. I mean, like I said last week when we were talking about what was last week's episode?
Father's Day, yes.
Father's Day. That's right. I almost said Ghost in the Machine. That's right. It's Father's Day. I just did the clip too. But yeah, and then we were so excited about this one right here. And and obviously, sometimes I always try to go in blind of like what's the next episode, but I happen to see because HBO Max is how I watch these episodes, and it was hard not to see Joker and Lex Luthor in the thumbnail. So I was like, oh, we're finally here.
I
Yes,
know.
we're finally here. And man, we are finally here. So yes, we are talking about World's Finest Part 1. We got so today, next week, and the week after, we're gonna be talking about this Batman and Superman crossover, and it starts off just absolutely fantastic.
I mean, I think it's funny though because like I said last week, technically all 3 of these parts are production-wise considered episodes of Superman the Animated Series.
Yes.
But yet we start in Gotham, and it was really weird
A
to
rainy
go,
Gotham. Yeah.
yeah, oh, a rainy Gotham, but still have our red sky. The red sky
It's there.
it's there. And I did want to take one moment, a little brief
Please.
history, because do you know why the episode is called World's Finest?
I do not.
Okay, that's because World's Finest Comics was the comic that would basically its selling point was that's where Batman and Superman would have team up stories.
Mm-hmm.
So World's Finest number 71, and I made pulled it up to make sure I got the right date. The comic book had been around since 1941, but to keep it as a seller, starting in July of 1954, well, like I said, with the 71st issue, it became the team up comic book if you wanted to see Batman and Superman in adventures together. So then that's why the name stuck, that whenever there's a Batman Superman team up, they are referred to as World's Finest. That's the history of the title.
So awesome. I know. Anytime you see it, and I know, like like somebody even said in the chat that hopefully, we'll see like a cinematic World's Finest. When it comes to Batman and Superman, I mean, man, I've been done anytime that we've had them come across you. I mean, obviously in the books it's been great, but I mean, obviously when we have them come across each other, and with this episode, and obviously the 3 parts, fantastic. And then of course, we didn't they've been trying, it's almost like they've been trying so hard to be like, hey, we got to bring these two together. And then of course it's always like they reverse each other, which is, it's always going to be the case because they're so polar opposite. And it's like, yeah, I know some people, I see people complain, especially with BBS, which, BBS, one of our all-time favorite fucking, comic book movies. But it's like, boy, when you see people go like, why couldn't they just make it a World's Finest? It's like, well, I mean, it is to a sense, like when it gets to that point, but they're always going to be at odds with each other because they're so polar opposite. And that's what makes it so great.
Well, and that's always been the case post-Crisis. I mean, even John Byrne in Man of Steel, which was the 6-issue miniseries that launched John Byrne's Superman reboot, they were antagonistic in that one. It was more like Batman was testing Superman. So, if we're not talking Silver Age, where they were just old chum buddy buddy
Yeah.
kind of deal, for the Bronze Age on, yeah, they've kind of, it's Batman and it's Superman. They have different methods. They won't always agree. You know, it, I always like to go back to that Jeff Loeb book,
Hmm.
the Superman Batman book, because the alternating narrations in that book
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
between Superman and Batman, uh, I think are are great. And there is something away about the way Jeff Loeb, even in Hush, which is not, I know a lot of people love Hush.
You're not a big fan?
I'm not a big fan, but when he has the poison ivy mind controlled Superman,
Oh, yeah.
attacking Batman, and Batman has that great line that says, I knew you wouldn't kill me because deep down, Clark's a good person, and deep down, I'm not. And I just I just
So
feel like
good.
that. I just feel like that like defines their relationship. And I love the way Jeff Loeb wrote it in Hush, and then how he wrote it in the Superman Batman book, with Public Enemies and the Supergirl of Tomorrow and all of that. I loved that because they were friendly but antagonistic. Like it did it both ways, and it worked. And I feel like even before that happened in the books, you had it in this animated series where, you know, they'll eventually work together, but there's still going to be like, okay, whatever.
And that's what makes the relationship so great. And, no matter what, even what Zach did with when it came to both of them. And I wish that, obviously BBS was like, it was great how he balanced those two together. But I do wish that even though, there wasn't, when it came to Zack Snyder's Justice League and how we didn't see, I wanted to see more. Obviously Bruce grew and his character arc grew to be like more optimistic, more like, not so just, everything sucks, 20 years in Gotham, Alfred, and all that stuff. And it was great. That was a great setup, but I wish that we could, obviously we were supposed to have more. And I was like, man, if just that relationship. And we even heard stuff and even what they did in here, what they did in this episode, just even introducing. We see the introduction and just like the Clark and Bruce,
And Lois,
Lois.
all of that. This 3 parts, and we're going to start talking about this first part. I just love how they really did set the stage
Yes.
for bringing these 2 characters together, because there's also really funny stories that Andrea Romano tells about Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy in the recording booth together.
Yes.
And how she said it was so funny because it was like both of them, it was like, when you have like a dick measuring contest for Tim and Kevin, it was like whose voice could get deeper.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It was kind of funny. It was like when I was watching this episode, I'm like, Conroy sounds like he's a little bit deeper in this. Like there was just something about his voice where it's like, it just sounds more just in this. And I'm like, okay, that makes
and to see the photos and you see the photo shoots of of Kevin and Tim and Dana and Mark and Clancy, like they were all there in the room together doing this. And Arlene, like everybody. It was,
man.
It's really fun to hear the stories. Like it's almost, having them all together was almost on the same level of like the recording session for Almost Got Him, when they had all the villains,
all the villains in there. Okay.
in the same session. Oh yeah.
God, yeah, I'm gonna have to check those out. Is there video with all that? Is there any video?
I think you can find some video, especially if you look around some maybe the Kevin Conroy tribute stuff. But yeah, it's just really, you'll find photos mostly.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you'll find video of those recording sessions, but you'll definitely see the photos. And of course, they're all looking like of course, this was 97, so they're all incredibly young in these photos.
Of course.
But it starts off, you're in you should know you're in Gotham because of
raining, red sky,
red sky. And then the antique store owner, and as soon as you hear that voice, you're like, okay, that's Harley. Oh, all right.
So yeah, saying she has something to sell, and then of course does her thing, and then Joker shows up, and you hear Mark Hamill. We're back with Mark Hamill, and it's just like, here we are. We're starting off like this. We're starting strong. We're starting very strong right here.
It's just funny to me that after he gasses the antique guy and he starts laughing, he like rolls him like a bowling ball off screen. Did you notice how weirdly he like grabs him? And it's not like he shoves him. He turns him over and like rolls him like a ball.
I didn't even notice that, but I know he like kind of like I didn't even notice that really. But I know he said like I liked like the little pun that he said, what's the joke in the box kind of thing, So maybe I was too busy writing that. I was like, Joker enters, joke. He says joke in a box. I like that, a little pun. I dig that. But obviously, Mark Hamill, he's back. Oh my god! So I didn't see that though. Yeah, I might have to go back and check that out. But you just like rolled them out like a bowling ball, huh?
Oh yeah, it was really funny. And then of course he picks something up, drops it. It's like, Mr. J, what about this?
Yeah.
And of course you see you look at that dragon, and I'm sorry, it's green.
Of course, you already know, like
you know what it is. I do think it was funny though. It's like how they make a point early on, and they kind of drop it later on of like how heavy that thing is.
Oh yeah, because he's like trying to like lift it off like what it's like set on, and he's and then it breaks off. And it's a little funny moment, of course. And gets he finally does, but it's like naturally you're just going like, well, there's still pieces of it that are gonna be right there. Geez, who's gonna find those little pieces out? Not Harvey Bullock. Who we see when we get to the whole crime scene thing. And it's funny too because I mean, it's one of those things, obviously, with the different animation when it comes to how, when we started off with Batman the Animated Series, the animation there, and then of course the transition to here. I mean, I was like, I always just forget. I'm like, man, Gordon really, he went on a good like slimming program because he is slim. He's
He
way
is
more
so
slim
slimmed
than he.
down. I mean,
Yeah,
we've already talked about it before when we talked about Holiday Nights,
yeah,
which is funny because going back to my story, I didn't realize that a couple of episodes of the third season of Batman the Animated Series had aired. This was my first time seeing all these new designs.
yeah.
Was when that
Crossover. Yeah,
that fateful Saturday morning when I watched this 90-minute programming block and just saw all of this, because I think how they did it was like they did it as an episode of Superman, and then they did it as 2 episodes of the new Batman Superman adventures, and that's the block they put together so you can get the 3 episodes. So you got part 1, part 2, part 3. But I just love how, they set up this whole idea that Joker strapped for cash,
yeah.
why he steal just this one random statue, and of course Batman appearing from the shadows. You're like,
Of course. I love that. Of course. It's just like he just shows up and then it's so the entrance is just so you hear the music, you hear the voice, and you're just like, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Yes.
and
So
then of
good.
course he immediately walks over to the spot, and
Yeah.
then of course conveniently now what does the green stuff start to do? It starts to glow.
Of course. You have to give that visual because it's like Batman being the detective that he is. It's like, oh yeah, he's looking down and seeing like the leftover jade that is there that Gordon tells him what it
Jade,
is.
right.
Jade. So then it's just like, okay, this is very interesting. So and that's what's so it's just great that we get the whole gang here. We get Gordon, we get Bullock. I mean, we're just missing Montoya, but I mean, she didn't need to be there. This is all detective work. She's more of like the cop type. But I mean, it's just great that's the case. And then of course, um, you know, and I love obviously how the scene ends because he just takes it, puts it in, and it just takes it away,
Puts
and
a
then
I love how he puts it in a little Ziploc bag and then puts
exactly.
it in his
And
in his
Bullock's like,
pouch.
"What? You're just gonna take evidence like that?" And then like when Gordon's just like, "You want to stop him?"
Be
It's
my
like,
guest. And then, of course, in the class thing, he turns around and like Batman's nowhere to be seen. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
Gordon's used to this. You're like, good luck, buddy.
exactly. And that's what I love the fact that it's like they showed that. It's like, Batman being the detective and Bullock, of course, just being like, what the hell? But then Gordon's like, yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. He's probably going to figure it out before us. So let him do his shit. Let him
And then
do
it's
his thing.
and then there's that great shot of the Batcave
Oh,
looking very
oh,
classic looking Batcave, and Batman running the shard through an electrospectrometer, and analyzing it. And then I love how Alfred comes in with like this art history book about was it the smiling dragon or the laughing dragon?
I think
I'm
it was the
trying
Laughing Dragon. It
the
was the
laughing
Laughing
dragon.
Dragon. Yeah, if I remember. Yeah, I think I put it in my notes, Laughing Dragon. But
Okay.
I mean, but it's such a cool like setup because you actually see him doing like the chemistry to analyze the jade. He's like analyzed, so you see it go, and it's just great animation. Just the fact that they're just like he's analyzing it in the Batcave before Alfred, of course, shows up and gives him more of the information that he needs when it comes to the statue.
I think it was cool detail, and I don't think when I was younger, I don't think I picked up on this
Of
detail.
course,
But
probably
but the fact that he said that the laughing dragon was carved in China 30 years ago, so it's
not.
sitting there going, Oh, that's when Clark got here. Okay.
Yeah, I did not even pick that up. There you go. I love that. I did not pick that up. That's
Because we
cool.
go all the way back to Last Son of Krypton, part
Yes.
1 and part 2, where at the end of part 1, when, Kal-El's rocket goes through that wormhole and we see the kryptonite, go into the wormhole with him, and then in part 2, it begins with the wormhole reopening and he's shooting to Earth and the kryptonite, came with him through the wormhole. So I love that little detail there of, okay, so Clark's 30, you know, 30-ish, because he was a
Yeah,
toddler on Krypton.
of course. Yeah. He wasn't a
So
baby.
yeah, so we got a Clark that's 33-ish, if we use Jesus time. And then, and we have a Lois who's 28,
Yeah.
as we established in
Yep.
Monkey Fun. So I thought it was fun, but I love it how as soon as Batman realizes that this green piece of rock is giving off low levels of radiation, he's like, you know, does Bruce Wayne have a trip to Metropolis planned?
Yes.
And it's like he's already like, yep, I already know what this crap is.
Yeah, he's like, "Yep, I've already, done my homework when it comes to this, and you know what? Time for Bruce Wayne to go to Metropolis." And it's great. And then of course we cut to Lois, of course, always being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes,
And
on
she's
Air
on
Force One.
yeah, but it's Air Force One. I mean, and they want the press there, which is great. Obviously there's something that's happening, but then naturally there's going to be somebody that's going to try to take over Air Force One. And then
Where's Harrison Ford when you need him? I'm
I
just
know, get
saying.
off my
Plane.
plane. God, such a great movie. Anyways, but yeah, so we have this that's all but I love it when it's all happening, and then one of the guys that are like taking it over like goes like, "Wait, you're Lois Lane? The Lois Lane that Superman always rescues?" And he basically goes, "Oh fuck, this is not going to work."
He doesn't even get a chance. As soon as
No.
the thought crosses his mind of, oh, Superman. And by the way, once again, shout out to Tim Daly Superman, how he is such a sassy pants.
Oh, I
He,
love it.
I mean, he doesn't just like, please, sir, will you stop? No, he messes with the flaps on the
Yes.
wing,
He
m-
starts
you know, and then spins the freaking plane around. Knocks them all out. I love it. I love it when Lois is like hanging upside down. She's like, "Thanks for strapping me in," and then
Yeah,
that gun hits the terrorist on the head. She goes, "Aw."
I know. It's a funny moment, and these are those little subtle moments that you get because it's like they place her back. They want her to be like stay in your chair and strap her in and make sure she doesn't go anywhere. But it worked to her advantage because yes, again, Superman just starts going like, "All right, well, I'm gonna like start tossing people around by doing this," and he does that. And yeah, like I said, it's just a funny moment where it's still, and it's funny because obviously when it comes to Lois and Superman's relationship, we just kind of get like a sense of like, yeah, she has a guardian angel. Like she just
Yeah,
kind of like knows it, and she's just kind of going, yeah, go ahead, guys. I have the guardian angel. I have it, and here he is. And
you were
thank you
so
for
screwed.
yes, you were so screwed,
You were
and
so screwed.
such a great moment. Such a
And
great
then
moment.
Superman goes. I almost said Batman
I
because
know.
he
Oof.
because look what Superman does. He rips the door off.
Yes, and everything starts going shh. Like,
Because well,
whoa.
because he the pressure, you know,
Yes.
the and then those terrorists are getting blown out the door, and he punch. I'm like, that terrorist is dead.
Dude,
It was
okay, I
just
thought the same thing.
meatloaf.
I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, all right, he just fucking and I wrote it right here. I said, punch to the face. He's dead. Like, there's no way that you take a punch from Superman and not live. This goes all I mean, but again, this even goes to BVS when people like talk about that moment where Lois gets rescued in Africa, and then she's being held, and then she just releases her grip, and then Superman takes out the guy and sends him through a wall. Everybody going like, what the hell? You just killed that guy. It's like, well, in reality, yes.
I mean, and in this one, the guy is already flying to him because he's being blown out, and then he punches him. Yes, we all know it's just a cool looking moment. But if you wanted
That's
to
the
talk about the
thing.
reality, that guy's face would be meatloaf at this point.
Just think of Mr. Smith in Matrix Revolutions when Neo punches him slow motion and his face goes goosh. Just imagine that, but way worse. I mean,
Oh,
but
it
at the
just
same time, it's just like you got to suspend the disbelief. You got to like just kind of just sit back and go like, you know what? You needed the cool shot. This is comic book stuff. This is not real. But yes, if you wanted to like look at it real, it's like, yeah, that guy is fucking dead. He's probably got a hole in his head. He's probably got a hole in his head right now, of course. But yeah, I know. I wrote that too. I was like, punch in the face. He's dead.
oh,
But it's such a cool shot.
it's such a cool shot.
It's such a cool shot and just a cool moment. And then and then of course we get this nice little moment between Superman and Lois where like, he just kind of goes like, Lois, I hope that I didn't shake up everybody on the plane and everything like that. And then Lois is kind of just like, hey, can we like hang out without me being in some kind of situation where I'm gonna die?
Yeah, I know, and I love it because he's about to just leave like
Yeah.
normal, and I just love, and it's always struck me. I love how he kind of like hops up, and she says
Yes.
something, and he just kind of like falls back down. It's like,
Yes. Yes, that was also great because he was like literally about to leap, and then he just stops in mid leap and just goes back down and goes, "Oh yeah, maybe we should." And then what happens? A fucking bank explodes, like, and it's a good shot too because it's like right between them. It's like this. I mean, we all know that we want them to be together, but shit just happens. Like it's not written in the cosmos right now,
I know.
and
I love it too. How she goes, "Oh, you should go," and he just goes. It's like, okay, you're already
yeah,
gone.
she's so disappointed. She's like, yes, of course, it's like that happens and blah blah blah. But it's just like, yeah, that's just what it is. But they show that relationship that it's like there's something there. He's her guardian angel, but at the same time, it's like they can't really have that relationship because of that, which is going to establish what happens, a little bit later, because let's face it, Lois has needs. Anyways,
Yes, she does. Oh, we're gonna talk
and
about
she has
that
a
a little.
and she has a type. She has
She
a
has
type.
she definitely has a type.
She has a
Um,
type.
yeah, I love it then how it cuts to Lex reading the newspaper in his penthouse,
Yeah.
and you just could just tell that the newspaper calling Superman Metropolis's favorite son. He's just like, fuck no, that's me. I'm not
He's
that
so pissed.
alien. He's
He's so
so
pissed.
pissed. And he's
So
like, Mercy!
yes. Yeah. And then of course, like I said, in previous episodes, we established their relationship, but of course, it's not going to be present here. But I feel sorry for Mercy because well, when finally, like, he does leave and it happens, when that happens, it's like, well, it's not exactly Mercy, but obviously Superman, like, yeah, when that all happens, and then of course we get that, and then he walks out, we hear the voice when she opens the door, it's
Well, no,
like,
but
oh,
we already saw her. We already saw
yeah,
Mercy though get like a punching, the
poor
punching.
Mercy.
I mean, no, that she get punched. She gets punched up against like a concrete wall, and
Oh
it's just
yeah.
like,
Oh,
oh,
poor Mercy.
and there's Harley, just like,
Yep.
hi.
Just taking over, and then of course, Lex realizes, and then we have a great moment between Lex Luthor and the Joker. Oh,
I love it. I love Harley going, ooh, check out the cute hitchhiker. And he
oh,
gets it. And there's just something about that commercial break. It goes,
yeah.
Lexi, do I have a deal for you?
Oh God, that's what you want to see when it comes to crossover events, right there. You want something like that, and that is like a perfect way to be like, oh my God, it's happening! Joker, Lex Luthor, what? This is happening. They're in the back of his like his town car or whatever. That it's like, God damn, this is actually happening.
Oh, and I
Joker,
love how nonplussed Lex is. He's like, Joker. You know,
Yeah, because he knows who he is,
he
and then
knows
it's
who he
funny,
is.
and I love the fact that when Joker is selling what he has to sell to Lex, that Lex is like, "Wait, you're gonna take on Superman, who's like an alien who has super strength? You can't even handle the mortal that you have, like the guy who's like not a fucking super being. You can't even handle him." Oh, good for
I,
Lex.
I know. You
I was
can't
like,
even
Lex,
handle a mere
yes,
mortal in a Halloween
yes.
costume. Boy, that pisses Joker off
Such a
so
great line, such a great line. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's exactly what Lex Luthor would actually say. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're just gonna take on the guy that I have to deal with when you can't even handle the fucking guy you're dealing with? Get out of here, motherfucker. That's businessman Lex right there that we
Oh,
talk
because like
about.
the whole conversation during Joker's entire pitch, they animate Lex in a way that he's literally just sitting there, arms crossed, still as stone, while Joker is like, he's like arm around him, very animated, and Lex is like part of the scenery
I
because
know.
he's not looking at him, he's not doing anything. I mean, he doesn't even respond to Joker until Joker's done giving his pitch.
Yes.
Because things like, what do you want?
God, it's just such a good scene, between these two, because again, obviously we're gonna see the how Batman and Superman are, but we're seeing also Lex and Joker, just how different they are as well. And it's just like you see the difference in this scene because you got like somebody who doesn't know shit. And he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna take out your guy. I got it." And then the guy just like, I've been dealing with your guy." And it was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That's not gonna happen." So you're seeing, again, you're not only seeing the Batman and Superman like opposite, but you're also seeing the Joker and Lex Luthor opposite. So it's so great.
And it's really funny is that I love how Lex pays absolutely no attention to the Joker until the Joker pulls out the
Yes.
the laughing dragon and it's glowing and he's like, it's pure kryptonite. And then immediately Lex goes, I can't be connected to this.
Yeah. All of a sudden he goes, "All right, fuck. All right, you. Yes,
You win. Okay.
you win." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I have an image that I cannot be associated to this. Yes, I want you to do this, but yeah, I
What's
can't
really
be."
funny though is that when Joker says, "Oh, you'll be Mr. Clean," is that a ball joke?
Yes. I mean, come on. Literally, if you're gonna have Joker and Lex Luthor in a scene together, you're going to make a Mr. Clean joke. And that was so perfect. And you have Mark Hamill. Come on. It's so good. It's so
Oh,
freaking good.
oh, it's so great.
It's so good. And then of course, okay. So when we get to the scene, of course, where Bruce shows up in Metropolis, one of the things that I was like, all right, because it's always kind of funny because even when people, even going back to BVS, I was like, all right, when before he walks out of the plane, of course, Lois is doing that whole thing that trashing Bruce Wayne and blah blah blah. But then when he walks out, all of a sudden she starts swooning, and I'm like, did you not know
Let's
what
see pictures of him.
Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. It's like, and that's like that has been my gripes when it comes, even like when it came to going back to BVS. One of my gripes was like, when Bruce Wayne showed up at that event and Clark was like, "Who's that?" It's like, do we not know who Bruce Wayne is? And then, of course, you fast forward to Zack Snyder's Justice League. You got Barry, Bruce Wayne sitting in his chair, and he goes, "I don't know who you are." And I'm like, do people just not know who Bruce Wayne is? At the same time, I can go at the same time I can go like, well, Bruce Wayne tries to keep a low profile, but how do you do that when you're Bruce fucking Wayne? You know?
Well, but then sometimes I have to think about the billionaires in our world.
Yeah.
Do you know what
They're
they all
all
look like?
Well, we don't. That's the thing. But I mean, we know what some look like who are, who bought that Twitter, we know that guy, we know who some look like, but you're absolutely correct. So I didn't think about that. It's like, yeah, sometimes they do kind of keep a low profile, and maybe, but at the same time, this is still Bruce
It's
Wayne.
still
It's
Bruce
like,
Wayne.
yeah,
I just think that's so funny that Lois Lane doesn't know what Bruce Wayne looks like,
yeah, I
and then
know.
he walks off the
No
plane,
surprise.
and it's like, "Oh, hubba hubba."
Yeah, again, she has a type because Bruce Wayne has a similar stature as Superman. They're both pretty. They got the shoulders.
Especially in the new design where he's not wearing the frumpy
Yes.
brown double-breasted suit
Oh,
and
I
yellow
know. He's
shirt.
full on black suits. Like he is looking sharp.
White shirt, red power
The
tie.
eyes are very striking in
Yeah,
this
we've talked about this
animation.
before. He's
Yeah.
got the bat eyebrows, and
Yep.
it works out. But I just love the way Dana Delaney,
Yeah.
just kind of goes, he's nothing but Gotham trash. Oh my.
Oh my. And then she's like, "Clark, is my hair okay?" And doing all this stuff. And then they do that thing with the score where they put that little sexy saxophone in there.
Oh, yes. And of course, Bruce walks through the entire crowd and straight to Lois. Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think he goes straight to Lois? Because he clearly introduces himself knowing that that's Lois Lane.
Yes.
But do you think he goes to Lois Lane because he's trying to get information on Superman?
Yes,
Okay,
because
good.
because just like how the goon on the fucking Air Force One was like, Lois Lane, you mean the girl that always Superman is watching over? Batman, yeah, let's face it, Bruce is smart. He knows.
Yes.
He knows that I'm traveling in Metropolis. I need to be in contact with Lois Lane because then later on when they go on a date, what is he asking about?
He's asking all
Most
about
of it.
Superman. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excuse me. So that
Yeah.
was my question. But of course, I love Lois being so flummoxed
Yeah.
that she was like, world famous. That's Clark Kent.
He's like, hey,
Uh,
it's all that whole thing. And then we see Mercy, who ends up being his driver, and poor Mercy because she has a bandage, like she has the hat on, but you see the bandage sticking out. It's like,
and she's got the bruise, and she's got the bruise on the
yes.
chin too.
Oh man, I'm feeling for Mercy, especially with previous episodes. Like this poor thing,
I
she's just
know.
trying to do her thing, but it's what she signed up for. I guess you could say. But so we get that. But yeah, I just love how they added that saxophone in there to make it all romantic. It was like, geez, you might as well play the that George Michael song. Whatever that song's called. I always forget, I'm never gonna dance. That song.
Oh yeah, that
I always
one.
forget because like the title of the song is not the chorus of the song. So I always forget what the
Oh, now you're gonna make
title.
me look it up, aren't
I
you?
know somebody's probably gonna say it in the chat if they're watching.
I don't know. What is that George Michael song? Because I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, no. Somebody, you know
Oh.
what? Somebody should do an edit when that all happens, and just put that behind it. Somebody should actually do that.
What is that song called? Careless Whisper.
That's what it is.
Careless Whisper. There you go.
Careless Whisper, because you never really hear that line in there because the chorus is I'm never gonna dance again. It's guilty feelings got, but it's like it's called something else. That's why I always go like, what the fuck is that called again? Yeah, Careless Whisper. God damn. But it's a great song. Anyways,
It is a great song. And then okay, so because they actually make plans to go on a date.
Yes.
Right there. This is actually so well paced that normally my 22-minute complaint of, well, that happened real fast. No, this makes complete sense because this is what Bruce Wayne does.
He's using his persona as Bruce Wayne to get information.
Yeah.
It's not, but it just so happens that Lois is a fucking, she's a fox. I mean, she's
a fox.
Yeah.
And he's hubba hubba.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's using that to his advantage. It's like, oh yeah, the benefit is like, hey, maybe I'll get laid, but at the same time, it's like I'm here to get information about this. He's there for specifically about what is going on with the Joker and everything like that. But hey, He's got to use again. I mean, we've talked about this before, like especially when it came to like the Two-Face episodes, is the fact that it's like he has the Batman persona, and he has the Bruce Wayne persona, and then of course he has him. So it's almost like, yeah, he has the duality, but there is actually the third one where it's like he's just him kind of thing, you know?
Yeah,
And
well, it's kind of like what Dr. Andrea from Arkham Sessions always talks
yes,
about. There's Batman, there's Bruce Wayne, and then there's Bruce.
yes, there's actual Bruce. And you know, there might be an upcoming podcast with someone talking about a certain, you know, Batman comic book, Ego, that might be coming up, you know, in a little bit here that I had with somebody, or, you know, talking about that. And specifically, that's what we talk about is the fact that there is that right there. There's like Bruce utilizes the Batman persona and the Bruce Wayne persona, and he's doing that right here, you know, but it could, you know, work to his advantage. Let's face it. He's just, you know, he is screwed up, but he's using that to his advantage. Just like, you know, he's getting his kicks when it comes to like being Batman and getting his kicks when it comes to being Bruce Wayne, but and being that, you know, that playboy type. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it, hey, there's Lois Lane right there.
Okay, so I have to ask. So
Okay.
this is so we cut to the restaurant where
Yeah.
the gangsters are all hanging out. What kind of restaurant is that?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. It's, eh.
I'm like, I, I was like, first I always thought it was Chinese, and then I'm like, well, is it Mexican? Are those like piñatas? Like, I look at the food that they're eating, and I'm like, but they're Italian.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on
That's
here.
hilarious because I remember like going like, okay, they're at some kind of restaurant, not sure what it is, and I didn't pay too attention to it. I love that you did though.
I was just like, what the hell is this place? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just know that the mob boss's name was Caesar
Yeah.
Carnini,
Yeah.
who was
Caesar
actually
Carlini. Yeah.
Carlini, and who's voiced by the guy who was the sergeant in Ace Ventura, police detective.
No shit. That's that guy.
That's that
Oh,
guy.
no shit. Oh
Yeah,
wow. That's cool. You
pet
okay, I'm glad
detective.
you
I'm
blew my
sorry,
mind. Yes.
but
I'm glad you blew my mind
but the
with the voice.
sergeant is the voice of Carlini. Yes.
Oh wow. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. I see him right now. I don't know his name, and I can't even remember the character's name. I just
Yeah,
remember
I
like,
looked at it was like John Capica Capa.
yeah,
Yeah,
hey
yeah.
Ventura, and then he smashes the roach. Homicide Ventura. How are you gonna
Uh,
solve that one? Yeah, that guy.
John Capadice.
That's what his name is.
That was
Okay.
the actor's name. But yeah,
Oh man, so that's who that was. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then I love how like, you know, obviously Joker shows up and he's like in town, he's doing his thing, he throws his, you know, Ninja Star Joker card kind of thing. And then I love how Harley just shows up with a pogo stick.
by the way,
Just
that
starts
first guy she lands on, he's dead.
Oh
By
yeah,
the way,
exactly. There's a lot of death that happens in this episode. You can't, you can't. If you want to think about it, yeah, it's gonna. There's a lot of yeah, because I mean, she is coming from like way up.
I'm sorry, and the camera angle they chose
Oh
has to exaggerate because the building's not that tall. But
yeah,
man, she comes off that balcony. Like, I love the fact that Arlene Sorkin spends the entire scene going boingy,
boy,
boingy.
hell yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I know. And it's like, all right, so yeah, there's that, and then of course, you know, talking about gas, and then of course we get the Joker like not well, yeah, the flower that's on his, you know, and then of course gasses him. He starts laughing his ass off, and then I love how he just kind of like throws him out with the trash, like he's in a.
By the way, the score, they started using
Yes.
a theremin. I'm like going, this is a Mask of the Phantasm. Why is the theremin playing here?
Oh, it was from Mask of the Phantasm.
As
Oh,
Mask of the Phantasm was
didn't
the
catch
only
that.
time that they've used a theremin because
Oh,
that was always when the Phantasm showed up. It was always that, you know, that.
oh,
So it was kind of funny that they used it in that, and they only used it in that one scene. But it's kind of funny though because in Mask of the Phantasm, you had all of those, victims ending up in the hospital,
yes.
and laughing. But I'm going to tell you, this scene made me think of something else, that came later. But when he goes, well, looks like there's a vacancy. Any nominations? I nominate me. And it made me think of the pool cue scene from The Dark Knight. You know, the "We're
Ooh, didn't think
having
about that.
tryouts."
Yes, let's gonna have tryouts. Yeah. Didn't even think about that. But yeah, yeah, you make a good point right there. Yeah. And then of course, like obviously he's laughing and blah blah blah, and we see him at the hospital, and we got what's
Turpin's
his name?
there.
Turpin's
I
there.
love it. I
Yes.
was like, "Yeah, we found him in the alley like this. Lights are on. Nobody home."
And Superman's just standing there. And I'm like, I do like the fact that we have this relationship between those two now, where it's like, something happened. I mean, obviously, you just cut to the chase because 22 minutes to get like, what's going on. But it's just like, yeah, you got Turpin right there talking about that and talking to Superman, who he once hated. And they're just like, yeah, shit's going down. I don't know what's going on, but there's some shit that's going down in Metropolis right here that you have not dealt with before.
Yeah, okay. Now, I'm trying to I'm I'm hoping we haven't skipped around too much because I'm trying to remember where in this episode does Bruce does this lead into Bruce and Lois's date, or did we skip over Bruce and
Well, we
Lois's
kinda
date?
talked about that. We kinda talked about that because, no, let's see. Where's my notes right here? So we got Bruce. Let's see. Mercy, and then no, we haven't led into that yet. No, we have not. We're
Okay, so
good.
we haven't. So I didn't skip over it because I was like,
Yeah, because
because
Bruce and Lois's date is after Bruce and Lex
oh,
hook
that's
up.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
Which is also just it's so good because obviously Lex Luthor. I mean, we got a sense of this even in BVS, and I thought Zach did a good job of just like, just poking this a little bit. It's like, of course Lex Luthor would want to collaborate with Bruce Wayne. He's one of the richest men in the world, and Wayne Enterprises. Of course, you want to be attached to that, and
And they both
we
have
get
incredible tech companies. Like
yes.
that's the thing. We when you go back and watch Batman the animated series, they have all this R&D going on in that series. So it would make sense that Wayne Enterprises and LexCorp would collaborate on something. Like that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. There's no way. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I go back to when before BVS came out and they had that infographic that showed the different like Queen industry, like everything like that showed like the different industries and like
Companies, yeah.
yeah, that where they rank. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that's always been great about the DC universe is like, yeah, you have people running these that are either the villain or the hero, and which is what's kind of great about it. It's like, oh yeah, we have some guys that are rich and that are running some of these industries, and then you have some villains that are also running these industries, which is really cool about all this. So when you have an interaction, and I'm not gonna lie that even rewatching this, I was kind of going like, there's some Batman Forever vibes a little bit right here. I mean,
Because he's kind of like he's so coolly like
yeah,
walking through the
walking through
office.
and seeing the robot in action and being like, oh yeah, it's a cool little robot. It's climbing up like a little cliff and doing its thing and making its target. But then even Bruce is like, I don't know. I don't know, Lex. Like this seems a little bit like maybe people shouldn't have this. This seems a little bit
Well, I love it
too
because he's like, "Oh, this is going to revolutionize,
yeah.
unmanned space travel." And Lex is like, "Maybe there's some more applications closer to home." And of
Yeah.
course, what has Lex already done? He's already, you know, built big ass versions of them and trying to talk to him about how the Joint Chiefs, want them for military applications. And I always love the way Kevin Conroy, brushes his hand off and goes, and he just sticks his hand in. I love that pose of like
Yeah.
the one arm straight down, the hand in his pocket. He's like, I don't like guns.
Yes. Oh man, so brilliantly delivered by
Oh,
Kevin Conroy. And then
because
even like
Clancy Brown has that line that goes, "It doesn't take a lot of imagination to see this application on the battlefield." And then I love it, the zinger that when Bruce Wayne's walking out, he goes, "Lex, blame me. Let your pals at Pentagon know I just don't have the imagination." It's such a great
so
line.
good. And then of course before he leaves, he always goes like, just say I just don't have the imagination. Oh.
And Lex has this look on his face like, what? Like he had the most
Fucking
befuddled look. Like what? Did you just say? He looks like he can't comprehend that Bruce Wayne just told him the fuck off.
just basically in a business sense told Lex Luthor, "Fuck off." No. Oh, Jesus Christ. You just gotta love that. I mean, again, there's so much that's happening. We're already 50 minutes into this thing, and then we just can't stop talking about how there's all these things in here that are just so freaking good. I've had goosebumps like 6 times, just talking about this. And that was definitely one of them. And then of course, this is where we get to Lois and Bruce.
Bruce's date. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah. And then this is where like Bruce is just constantly like basically just getting information about Superman from Lois because he can't turn it off. This is what Bruce does.
And I like he's like my favorite thing is like, well, how do you get in touch with him if you need him? And I love Lois's line, committing a felony helps.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, oh, it's like I have a, he's thinking I have a signal. How does Superman get? Yeah, just committing. Yeah, it's like okay, so he's breaking all that down. But then Bruce, of course, does what Bruce does. Because obviously she's just like twirling her drink. Like, I don't really want to talk about this because she's a little heartbroken at the fact that she can't get anywhere with Superman.
It's why she's on the date with Bruce.
Exactly.
I mean, let's be honest.
It's like she knows like. And that's what, again, there's so much. I mean, the fact that they crammed all this in 22 minutes, it's just the fact that Lois was trying to pour her heart out to Superman at one point, but then it got interrupted because he has to do his, Superman thing. And then all of a sudden she just finds, Bruce Wayne shows up who has a striking resemblance, at least, in the sense of like, he's tall, dark and handsome kind of thing. And now she's like on the date. And then that guy keeps on asking about Superman.
Yeah, it's just
it's like stop.
But at least from Bruce, I like Bruce's way of going. I'm sorry, no more. We'll shut up now. And then they just
dance.
Let's dance. And I love the shot though. Like you get the spotlight on them, and then like all the other, like the rest of the background just kind of disappears. Very impressionistic. I really like it how it's like they're the only two people in the room. And so that was, that's a cool scene.
Establishing that relationship. And it's like, all right, because both of them, it's just like one of those things where it's like Bruce recognized, oh, wait, yeah, I got to stop doing this. And this is actually, this is an interesting woman. Maybe I should actually let my shit down and just kind of like have some fun a little bit here and enjoy myself with it. It's like, Bruce, yeah, relax, enjoy yourself. Try to get laid. Maybe it'll happen. Oh no!
What's really funny is like, the last time you dated a woman that sounded like Dana Delaney, it didn't go so well.
Oh, that's true. Didn't even think about that.
I know. That's the funniest.
You got your heart broken, Bruce. I get it. She sounds a little bit too much. Yeah,
a little too much like Andrea. We get it. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe, we always forget that. Dana Delaney. Yeah, she voiced both. So. But yeah, so we get that they dance, and then what's Clark doing? Good job, Clark, doing some detective work.
Hey, going down the Hobbs Bay, good choice.
Yes.
Talking to Bibbo, not the best choice.
Maybe not, but it's Bibbo, and it's great to always see him show up, and he's just like, hey, give me some information about the Joker. Of course. He's not too smart, but hey, it's like you're using your resources at least.
I gave him like $40. Yeah. But I love it when Ben was like, "Sure, Mr. Kent, but which one? We got lots of jokers around."
It's like, oh, it's not $40 well spent, but hopefully something. And yeah, again, this is a crossover event. Let's get all the characters in here. So
I love the way they animated Clark's reaction to that, because he's just like, oh crap, this isn't gonna work the way I thought it was. But then I love it, like right over his shoulder is the window, and you just see little whoop.
Yeah.
I just love that transition of its shoulder, and then you see a little figure just going running across the rooftop. So I'm just like, yes.
Oh man. And then of course we get a nightclub scene. And this
Oh
is
yeah.
where I kind of go like, all right, Batman nightclub scene. I mean, let's face it, Christopher Nolan, Matt Reeves, they both kind of like taken that whole, hey, Batman crashes a nightclub scene approach. And it's I'm just gonna say it started a little bit here, a little bit, huh? It started with the animated world.
But what I love about this one is that the
Oh,
classic, like, let's break it through the skylight and let's just come like flying down. Because once again, these clubs in the animated series, like once again, how far is that roof to that floor? Like,
oh
how
yeah.
big is that
These are like
room?
cathedrals. Like they're just like fucking yeah. It's like he's crashing through something a skylight that's like 4 stories, 5 stories high because they have to make that dramatic
Oh,
approach.
because
It's
the
not just
cape has got to fly out.
oh, dude, and you see that shot. It's great, But we've seen it before, even in Batman Forever. We've seen that, and we've only, when it came to the first Batman '89, that was like a museum, so it wasn't quite this. But Batman '89 had like a party thing happening where he does crash through, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, you get that dramatic entrance, and that's where it's just like, oh boy, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh,
we're
I just love it how he like lands on the table.
yeah,
He's like, long time, Binko.
yeah,
And then I love it. Hey, did you notice? Because Binko's got that girl who's like all cuddled up with
of
him.
course.
But did you see Batman? He's looking at Binko and then he goes, that girl just goes, oh, I'm out of here.
Like, I just got a head turned by Batman. I'm gonna take off right now. Yeah. No,
Oh,
and then of course talking about Corleone and all that stuff, and yeah, he's just doing his Batman thing. And yeah, then he starts taking on the goons as Batman does.
I love it. I love it so much because he throws the batarang at the one guy who shoots off the gun. That's when everyone else in the club decides to like be like, "Oh no, we are getting the hell out of here."
Yeah.
And then he turns, and then the other guys come up on him. He kicks them, and then as soon as he kicks them, I love the fact that Batman goes, "Where the hell did he go?"
Exactly. And then this is where we're gonna have to start watching to the
Of
very end.
course.
Because
Oh,
it's just so good. It's just so good.
so damn
And,
good.
yeah, this is where this is what's happening, folks. So here we go. There it is. Batman's on the table. He's about to do his thing, and why not? Let's just keep going at it. Yeah. Where did he go? And he's like, "Huh?" Yeah. Get him! We got girls that are dancing in cages. He's gonna
He's gonna
use
use
that. He doesn't give a shit.
I love how that bola suddenly becomes 5 times as long as it wraps itself around that guy. Ah, this
Where's
scene.
the Joker?
Joker.
Yes.
Making
Making
ha
hot
with
Never
the
turn
whole
away.
win. I can quote this whole
I don't
fucking
know,
scene.
honest. I never went back after he muscled in. I don't want nothing to do with that clown.
God, it's so
That's
God,
enough.
it's so
Oh.
upset. Oh my
Oh.
gosh, there it is.
And
then
Batman
he
doesn't give two
throws.
shits.
He
Doesn't
throws
give two
Superman.
shits.
He throws Superman. What the fuck? Superman's like, what the fuck just happened right now? Dude, talk about big dick energy.
Superman's shoulder blasters.
Oh yeah, but then that was like, oh yeah, then you
I
fucked
heard
up.
you were crazy.
Oh,
I didn't think you were stupid.
oh my god,
God.
this is so good. And then he just goes, oh, it's Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
You
You
peaked.
peaked.
Oh
Want
god.
vigilantism in my town. You'll be rid of me.
And then he
As
just
soon as I
goes,
find
how
Slowly
about
taking
this?
the little
That may
zip
not
back.
be soon enough.
Oh,
This
I
is
love
such
how
a
he whips
boss
the cape.
move.
He whips the cape.
It doesn't take
So
much,
dramatic.
does it? The Joker has 20 pounds more where this came from.
Oh, it's so good.
Thought you
Thought
want to
might
know.
like to know.
It's such a boss move. It's such a tiny piece of kryptonite.
I know, and he just throws it in a drink, and then he disappears. God, it's so good. And then this, and then
Oh
this.
God, this.
Oh, that I love that shot right there. The silhouette, the shadow.
No, the fact that it's done completely in silhouette because you're not seeing the transition from Superman into Clark Kent.
Getting in his PJs.
Hello.
Hi. I just wanted to let you know I'll be in
And then,
late
of course,
tomorrow. I'm having breakfast.
Lois just
Bruce.
going like, "Hey, guess what?"
Watch this though.
That's
What's really
special.
funny to me is that
Do I detect a
Clark's
note
about
of
to put on his
disapproval?
glasses and he's at
You
home
were
by
the one who
himself.
compared
I know,
him to
right? It's like you
garbage.
don't need those.
Well, I was wrong.
He's
Oh,
He's
Rat
very
trapper.
thoughtful and much deeper than the gossip mongers would lead you to believe. You'd be surprised.
would
I
I now? God.
I'll let you go so you can count sheep or whatever
Oh,
you
the way
fancy
that the
doing
score
straight
is just
now.
like,
Bye.
dude, it's just so so good.
and he uses his telescopic vision, and there's Batman. And this has always been like the most epic. Right now, when he just kind of Batman just kind of goes, "Ah,
Hey,
fuck you."
gotcha.
Touche.
Touche, and then just
Ah, yes.
and then to be continued. Oh, that score. Oh, it's just God. It's such a good way to end.
It's such a good
Oh
episode.
my God. Oh, it's just so good.
Oh.
So good, man.
I
God.
just love the fact that when Batman's interrogating Minko and Superman just puts his arm like, okay, that's enough
Hey,
now.
hey.
And Batman's just like, really?
Okay. And then
Okay.
just fucking tosses him. I mean, that was such a just
And then
again.
Superman, and like I said, and then Superman's immediate reaction is, oh, that's how this is gonna go. And then just shoulder slams him flat up against
See,
the
that's
wall.
that's one of the things, and I think that's what Zach was conveying when it came to BVS. It was like, it's like, okay, you know, and I love the line. One of my favorite lines of BVS is like, "Stay down. If I wanted it, I could, you know, basically just
I wanted you dead. If I wanted it, you'd be dead already."
Exactly.
And when he slams him up against the wall, it makes me think of that scene in you know, when it's like, you know, when they go face to face and Superman just kind of goes, just
Yeah,
kinda takes
exactly.
and
It's just like
pushes him.
you just see that where it's like where Superman underestimates Batman, you know, but then all of a sudden Superman goes, okay, I have to kind of just like I had to slap him around a little bit because he's not getting this. It
He's
was
not
like,
getting the message. But the difference here, though, is I like the fact that Batman's like, listen, I'm here to do a job. I will gladly leave town when that job is done, but don't get the fuck in my way.
God, it's so good.
I like because all Batman's thinking about is, but I also like the one where he takes out the little baggie that I just and literally forces Superman across the room holding a little baggie of kryptonite.
He whips his cape. It's so dramatic because he goes whoosh, and he's like, "I got you, bitch. What are you talking about? I was ready for you to show up. But look at this," and then tosses it into a drink.
Okay,
Like, come on, man.
But also he leaves him with a little snarky. Joker's got 20 more pounds. Where this came from? Thought you'd like to know. It's just like it's like I'm a badass, and Superman is just like, what the hell?
What the fuck just happened? And then all of a sudden he disappears like he does. And it's like, yeah, that's right, bitch. I got you. Don't worry. I got you. And I'm here to help, but don't fuck with what I'm doing right now. Okay, Boy Scout? Okay?
Oh, by the way, there's a vocal cameo in that scene.
Oh, who?
Binko is Corey Burton.
Corey Burton. Who is that?
Brainiac.
No shit. Oh, yeah.
Brainiac.
Oh, God. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and listen.
I know it's so funny, but but also love his line where he goes, "Where's the Joker?" I don't know. When he muscled in, I left town. I'm making ha with Harley Quinn.
Jeez. Oh man, there it is, guys. World's Finest Part 1. This was, I mean, we knew this was going to be a fun one to just nerd out about, and we got 2 more episodes.
We got 2 more. I'm going to be interested going back because I spent because I bought the VHS for this because they released it as a movie. So almost every time I've watched this, I've watched it as all 3 parts, like edited together. Like I didn't watch these things separately. Like I said, the first time I watched it, my local affiliate aired it was a 90-minute programming block. I've always watched it as one part. So I'll be really interested to see how it feels as we break each part up, if
Yes.
I feel a preference to one part over the other. Because, dude, this thing starts off so
So
strong.
strong. So
Part
strong. But you know
one
what's kind
is
of funny?
so
Because
good.
now I'm just remembering that when posting about this and posting, because I posted the clip from last week's episode, and then today I was like, don't remember we got World's Finest, and somebody was like, man, when this movie came out, blah blah blah. It was like, I was like, movie. And I was like, oh, that's right. They did kind of make it like it was that, like what you said when you were saying that. I was like, oh yeah.
It was a clamshell VHS
Yeah.
with terrible cover art, and but I
I'll look
bought it on
that up.
I bought it on VHS. I bought it on DVD when it came out, and then when the season 2 box set of Superman the Animated Series came out on DVD, I think that was actually the first time that I discovered, oh, these are Superman episodes. you know, and that was when I started watching them as individual episodes instead of just watching it straight through as a movie,
Yeah.
because that VHS is what I killed on repeat watching over and over again. I mean, when we talk about about those certain episodes of Batman the Animated Series that I've seen so many flipping times, it's ridiculous, and how I never really had the same experience with Superman. This is the outlier. This is the exception, because I watched these 3 episodes
Yes.
over and over and over again. I loved this 3-parter so much because, like I said, I watched it as a movie.
Yeah.
It was a 90-minute movie is how I considered it.
God, it's just so good. There's so many good things in this first part. Cannot wait to dive into part 2, which we will next week, and hopefully you guys will be with us and talking about it. And then we've had more people like involved in this one. I think people are just
People have been waiting for
yes.
these 3
I think
episodes.
so, and it shows, and it's just because it's so good. It's such a great crossover, and yeah, this was just a lot of fun, guys. And yeah, so part 2 next Thursday, we'll dive into that. And like you said, it's going to be interesting to dive into them because this ended so fucking great. I mean, so great. So just to see where it picks up and how that one ends again, and I have an idea of how it ends too, and I'm like, I'm
Oh, I
remembering
know
how.
exactly. I
Yeah.
remember exactly how part 2
Yeah,
ends.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, okay. It's just gonna get more. We're just gonna have so much more fun when it comes to this. So, part 2 next week, guys, and we appreciate you guys spending time with us. Like I said, I mean, our episodes are usually like 30, 40 minutes. We're almost an hour and 10 now because we just love this
This
we
episode.
love, yeah, so much. There's just so much to talk about and so much to nerd out about. But let's go ahead and send us off, Scott.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27, at Instagram at McMurlin, and on Vero at Scott McClellan. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com.
There it is. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Vodka stream, of course. And of course, if you're just paying attention to DC Fan-imated, we'll see you next week at the same Bat Superman time, same World's Finest channel, I guess you could say. I don't know. Anyways, and we'll probably switch shirts. I'll wear a Superman shirt next time.
Oh, no,
We'll wear a different-
we're alternating,
yeah, we're gonna
definitely.
alternate. That's what the whole flipping of the whole thing was. It's like I'm gonna wear a Batman shirt tonight. He's wearing Superman. We'll flip flop next week. So, all right, guys, we love you. Talk to you later.